diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging for the International Coaching Federation. So I get the wonderful privilege to talk about equity every day. And so when we saw this conference, it was absolutely a no-brainer for us to be here in your midst today to discuss this about education. I am a certified coach. I'm a professional certified coach. I'm also a TEDx speaker, DIB executive, educator, and trainer. I am a professor. And I also do tech content, and I'm also an author and blogger about DIB as well as AI and education. So I see it from all the lenses, and so we're going to go through them today in that manner. So, of course, all educators know we have to have our learning objectives. Yes, I know you saw them on the website, so I don't have to go through all of these with you. But we are really going to talk about coaching as an equity tool and how it can help shape the environment of your teaching and the learners that you are teaching. Okay. So, a little bit about what we're going to do. We're going to start with equity gaps, followed by coaching as a strategy. Then, of course, we're going to have a framework. We always have a good framework, right? And then we're going to talk about some of the applications that we can use with coaching and equity. And then a few of the areas we're going to touch is AI, UDL, and student success. And then we're going to reflect and have some action items. And that's where y'all are going to come in and talk to me. And yes, I know y'all hear the y'all. I'm from lovely Nashville, Tennessee. So you're going to hear those throughout the presentation. So don't be alarmed. That's just me. All righty. So first, let's start with the equity in education. So let's talk about realities across disciplines. We need, no matter what your discipline, you're seeing this. You're seeing students come into your classrooms with different levels of preparation, different language abilities, different exposure to content, and different life experiences. So in STEM, it may show up as a skill gap. In ESOL, it may be a language barrier. In TE, it may be a industry expectation. And of course, in leadership, it may be a retention and completion gap. But whatever you're seeing, different contexts, but it's the same issue. That when we give the same instruction, we don't all get the same outcome. And so that's one of the things we need to realize with equity. And why is this so important? Because we have to be clear that equality is the same resources and expectations, but equity is when you give people what they need to succeed. And a lot of times these are used interchangeably, but they are not the same. We need to make sure that we are seeing the person for the person and not as a checkbox or a check mark. And we have to be able to adapt our coaching and our teaching in that manner because equity aligns support with the need, not with what everybody else is receiving. It is a difference. Remember, equality is everyone gets the same thing, but equity gives people what they need to succeed. And we want to teach in equity. Yes? And please put things in the chat. I am an interactive speaker, so I will love to hear what you're thinking in the moment. And then, of course, we are going to address the questions at the end. So now let's talk about coaching as a strategy. Are any of you coaches already? If not, that's okay too. But you're going to see we have a thing called Luke's. It's called Leaders Teacher Using Coaching Skills, where we're going to be talking about educators using coaching skills today. Okay. So, what is that? What is it that you already do? Okay. So, you are already doing the work. You're teaching, you're advising, you're mentoring, and you're supporting. So, the question is not whether you're influencing student success. The question is, how intentionally are you doing it? Let that sit. Are you intentionally going into your classrooms every day saying, I'm going to influence my students' success today? Or is it just something that you think just happens in the moment? The difference between those things is that coaching equals you doing it intentionally, meaning you're taking that time to really get to know that person and really get to use your equity tool to give them the tools that they need for that success. So let's talk about what that coaching looks like, right? Coaching is simple in concept, but powerful in impact. And most educators are powerful in impact, right? We see all of these people each and every day. Sometimes it's 8 weeks, some of it's 5 weeks, some of them are 10 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever it is. We're helping people think instead of telling them what to do. And it shifts the focus in giving answers and developing thinkers. I want y'all to sit in that. We shift the focus from giving answers to developing thinkers. How powerful is that? How impactful is that? So when they leave your classroom, they are being given the skills to develop as thinkers. So when they hit their stride in their education, when they hit their stride in leadership, when they're at their workplace, they're remembering what you taught them to be a truly developed thinker. Because if we are doing the thinking, students are not learning how to think. So, this is the part that is where the coaching meets the road. We help them think instead of telling them what to do. Coaching asks them questions so that they can think and not tell them what to do. So, you're already educators using coaching skills. And you do this through reflection, ownership, and growth. So when they leave you, they're able to reflect on what they've done, take ownership of what they're doing, and grow because of what they're doing. So, how many of y'all are excited that y'all are playing this type of role in a student's life? I should see yeses jumping off the chat right now. We should be excited about that. We are thinking architects. Oh, that sounds good, right? We're shifting from telling to thinking. Okay. So now let's talk about this framework. I love a good framework. Educators love a good framework, right? So we're going to make this really simple and easy, right? So this model brings everything together. At the center, you see coaching for equity. It's not a program, it's not an initiative, it is daily practice. And from the outside, you start with access, helping your students understand systems, opportunities, and pathways they might otherwise not see, right? How many times have you opened the eyes to something that a student had never been exposed to before, and they were today's years old when they were learning it? How many times have we done that, right? Then we go to voice, supporting students in expressing their ideas, asking questions, and showing up what? With confidence. A lot of them show up, but they don't necessarily show up with confidence. But then all of a sudden they come into your classroom and then you are exuding that confidence and they want to know how you're doing that. And from your teaching, you are showing them how to show up in confidence. All right, I love that. I love that for us educators, right? Then the third one is belonging, creating environments where students feel seen, respected, and valued. How many times have we gone to a classroom, even as when we were being educated, right? And we weren't respected, we weren't valued. You could tell we were a tick box, but that doesn't happen in our classrooms, right? Then number four, critical technology literacy. That is so critical right now. Everything is going digital. And so, as educators, we're preparing our students to engage thoroughly with tools like artificial intelligence and not just using them. We're teaching them how to use them as a thought partner and not just something they play around with on their phone or on their computer. Okay. And then finally, institutional change. Because when coaching sits, how we react shifts how we react, it ultimately shifts how systems operate. So the more they're getting it from you, they're going to expect it from their other classes. And then the other classes are going to shift. And then the other class is going to shift. And soon the whole um, institution can shift just off of one idea that we had. How powerful is that in this moment? So I'm just going to click through some of these things. So access. This is how you increase access. You explain the expectations, clarify systems, guide pathways, and connect resources. This is what you're probably already doing now, but you never really thought about it that way. This is where you are really connecting the students. Many students don't struggle because of lack of ability. They struggle because they don't understand the system. And that's when y'all become the gateway to the system. And so you do this already, but we just want to highlight it a little bit more. Then with our voice, we build their voices through open-ended questions because, we don't want to ask them closed-ended question. Yes, no. What have they gotten out of it? Yes, no. All right. But when they have to formulate sentences and they're hearing these sentences come out of their mouth and it starts degenerating that thinking process, they start thinking on a whole nother level. And that's because you have started the conversation with open-ended questions. You've also given them opportunities to participate. You're not talking at them, but you're giving them opportunities to participate. And then you're also opening the floor at the end for reflection time. At the end of this session, I'm sure you're going to want to reflect. And we're going to give you that opportunity. Why? Because we want to make sure that these things are coming together. And finally, we want communication support. Some people don't know how to communicate or they're scared in the moment because of a bad experience. But coaching helps build that confidence, that clarity, so that they can truly communicate the way they need to communicate in this world. And it starts in your classroom. We have belonging, which drives engagement, persistence, and success. Students stay where they feel seen. And we're wondering why our numbers are dropping. They stay where they feel seen. And that starts in our classrooms. Critical technology literacy. Coaching supports responsible technology use by building awareness, and we also have identifying biases and tools. That's very important. Every day we deal with bias. It's not going away. But if we teach our students how to use bias to leverage their learning, that's a whole nother avenue that most people are not teaching. They're teaching get away with bias, go away with bias, bias needs to be gone. But bias is not going to go away because these tools are made by humans with bias. So, let's level up, educators. Let's level up and say, okay, we're going to teach you how to work with the bias and move up to your next level. And then finally, equitable decision making. When they learn how to speak, how to work these tools, all these different things, we need to make sure that we are having um, ethical decision making. So think about that when you are showing these tools, when you're giving these examples. Are we teaching them how to use this properly? And finally, institutional change. Coaching influences systems by shaping leadership practices. We're teaching these people how to be strong leaders because they watched how we lead our classrooms. We're improving student support structures. We are giving them what we know is not there. We're strengthening collaboration. We're giving them projects where they have to work together and not in silos. And then we're embedding equity in our culture. We're realizing that there is culture, period. It doesn't matter. There's not a difference. It's just culture. And we are using that culture to elevate our students and to be able for them to stand proud in that. And that comes with institutional change. This is how the culture shifts, not just through policy, but through everyday interactions. So, what are we doing today to shift that narrative? If you're a faculty member, then your impact is in the classroom. If you're a program leader, your impact is structural. And if you're an administrator, your impact is institutional. But regardless, you have impact. And I know you are ready to use that today. So let's talk a little bit about the coaching practice. All right. And please, as I'm going through, just pour it and in the chat so we can talk more about it. So identity and learning. First off, each one of our students has an identity, and we get the lovely opportunity to helping them shape that with participation, confidence, interpretation, and experience. Where others have often been ignored, they will not be ignored in our rooms because we see them. We take the time to look. We take the time to have that conversation. We take the time to make that phone call if necessary. And guess what? Every time y'all do those small things that may seem small, you're building identity and you're building the fact that they want to learn more because they know you are invested in them. And that is always present. Because what did we say? People stay where they feel seen. We also want to use our listening. Coaching, a huge coaching skill is listening. We want to shift from quick answers to deep thinking. We want to go into curiosity. We want to go into reflection. Coaching asks us to listen to understand. That means slowing down, being present, and creating space for the students to think. How are we creating that space for them to think? Are we just throwing things on our board and just letting them flow free? Or are we getting in that board and we are shaping those questions? Are we getting in that board and we are adding more than what is already prescribed? What are we doing in this moment to truly listen to them and hear what is needed in the moment and making equitable education? So here's some of the coaching questions that you could take with you today. You could start using them tomorrow in your classroom, right? What is your goal? What is challenging you? What has worked before? And what support do you need? When they answer these questions are leading them to what? Ownership of their education. How powerful is that? How many students believe that they truly have ownership in their education? How many students believe that they are making the decisions in what they're doing? You believe, you might be shocked at how small that number really is. So, with that being said, these questions, they may seem simple, but guess what? That it triggers that I see you. And number two, it triggers that you have a voice in these conversations. You have a voice in your education. You have a voice in your future. I just want y'all to sit in these for the moment. You are empowering these students with these questions. So I want to know how many of you are already using these questions, or how many of if you're already using the questions, put a 1 in the chat. If you want to use these tomorrow, put a 2 in the chat. I just want to know where we're sitting right now. Okay. All right. I see y'all. Very good. Very good. Okay. One and two. Okay. Very good. Good. I see some ones. I see some twos. Very good. I love the energy. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So that means that y'all are paying attention to me. So I love this. We always got to check. You all right? So, one of my favorite topics in the world is universal design for learning. This is so important. Uh, as a adult learner myself, and then someone who teaches predominantly adult learners, I learned how important this would be. I actually wrote my dissertation on this. And some need visual support, some need discussion, some need hands-on experience. So what is that? VARC. Okay, right? Well, it used to be VAC. Now it's VARC because we add reading now that we do so much digital. But basically, it is, your visual, your auditory, and your kinesthetic learner, and then the one that learns by simply reading. Coaching helps us identify those differences and respond to them. So we need to have different formats, flexible engagement, and varied expression. Everything doesn't work for everybody. And pushing them in a box that doesn't work for them is not going to be conducive to their learning. There are many ways, even if we are given a box that they're supposed to sit in, for us to switch the box up a little bit so it's more student friendly. How many of us are shifting that box sometimes? We see it. This student is really not a visual learning. They need to hear it. So we put videos in so that they can listen to it. Or we know we need hands-on experience. So we write in a separate thing. Try this. And it'll be something where they're writing something or something where they're building something or whatever, just so that they are also engaged in the process. This is so important. And what? This leads to equity coaching and equity learning. All right, so let's talk about our technology. This is a big thing for us educators. So, artificial intelligence, it is impacting us in different ways. And so I gave you examples on the screen: analysis and coding, technology tools, writing and research. I put the liberal arts on there because, I work with an English professor. So, I'm always talking about English, even though I'm more of a STEM girl. And then ESOL, language support. So AI is basically everywhere. So we need to start leveraging this. We know our students are using it. So why not leverage it? And why not make the excitements fun? And it also teaches them how to use a tool better while they're also learning what they need to learn for the class curriculum. AI is no longer an option. So it's now time for us to truly leverage this. Yes? How many of you are leveraging it right now? So, but of course, we have to have the conversation about AI bias and equity, because we know that everybody's system is built to them. So Susie's going to get one answer and Bobby's going to get another answer for the exact same question. So how, due to Susie's bias in her system and Bobby's bias in his system. Okay. So we have to remember that it reflects bias. It could have inaccurate outcomes. It could have missing perspectives, and it could also have unequal access. If we are doing it, we may be thinking from a PhD standpoint. But if our students are doing it, and let's say, or their children are doing it more than they are, then the child may be in the fifth grade. So it may be running from a fifth grade perspective. So that is not going to be the same output that our AI would give to us as their AI is giving to them. So we have to make sure that we are letting them know to check the source. All right? Check the source. It is not, do not just copy and paste. Challenge the AI. Also, resource that and make sure this is a perfect opportunity to let them use their resource skills and thinking skills. A lot of people think just because AI put it out there, it is gospel, and it is not. So we need to make sure that we are letting them know that they need to add to the leverage point. So how many of y'all are seeing these different changes now that AI is into play in the assignments? I know I'm seeing it. So we just need to add that piece into it for sure. And so let's talk about a coaching conversation with AI about AI. How did you use AI? Let them tell you how they're using it. That helps a conversation start in the mix. That teaches, sometimes it makes them a teacher. A lot of them don't think that they know a lot of things, but they know how they use the thing. And that might actually spark another type of conversation in the chat. And they could be seen as a thought leader or expert leader in their class because they're teaching about a prompt or any or something like that. What is your thinking? Like, why are you using it? How did you use it? But why did you use it? And then what was missing from the answer that you received? They need to see what's missing and they need to be able to call it out. That's part of that developmental thinking that we were talking about. And then what are the limits? They should know, well, my bias may be a limit. The prompt I'm putting in there is a limit. The expertise that I've been putting into the system may be a limit. So they need to be able to think about these things. And so you can start that conversation to let them know that they're not supposed to just take it off first hand. And you're not barking at them, finger pointing. No, you're letting them come up to that conclusion by themselves. And that's the important thing. And so we want to really think about this. We want to teach not just compliance, but we want to teach thought. So let that sit in there for a minute. So we're going to do systems and outcomes, and then we'll be ready to open it up for a little discussion. I mentioned earlier about guided pathways and navigation. You are the path guider, right? You help students choose their direction. You help them stay on course. You help them connect with their careers and you help them complete programs. They don't drop out because they get lost. They drop out because they are not being seen. They don't feel like they are on course. They don't feel like they're being served. But right here, as part of your coaching skills, you're going to be able to guide them and help them navigate through these things to finish on point and on course. Coaching helps the students connect their goals with their path. They're not seeing them as one, they're seeing them as two or three separate things. But you, educator using coaching skills, will help them see it as one and make this road a little lighter. Institutional impact. So coaching also affects retention because now they're seeing it like this. So it's a little easier. It affects engagement. Now that they see it like this, they want to know how they're going to get to the next level. So they're going to be engaged in their learning. Now that they see it like this, They're going to now want to collaborate with others because they don't want to be in a silo. They want to learn as much as they possibly can. And then because they see it like this, they also see them in this process. And that's where the culture comes in. And it improves engagement, collaboration, outcome, and it also helps with leadership. Because when they know about retention, when they know about engagement, when they know about collaboration, when they know about culture, they can use those skills to become better leaders on the outside. So, of course, we got to talk about research. So, coaching improves persistence. This is not just theory. It improves retention. It improves confidence, engagement, and outcomes. So, if we know this is happening, we have data to prove it. The questions are things we're already asking. Why are we not doing more of coaching? Let's think about it. So, where can coaching improve your classroom, your program, and your institution? And I want you to take a moment to think about that for me. Which one do you think coaching can improve right now, today? You could put classroom, program, or institution in the chat. Or if you want to come off, you can definitely tell me too. We're in the reflection phase now, so we can all talk. Okay, I see
I'm
a
in,
few.
thank you, Dr. Finch. I'm just thinking about your question, and I have a couple contexts that I come from. And
Okay.
one of them is I'm a student, I'm in a doctoral program, and I'm thinking about when I go to office hours, I feel like I get coaching, but
Mm.
I elect to go to the office hours. It's not really, I feel like institutionally encouraged or embedded
Yep.
that we go and seek that one-on-one, like beyond, deliberate classroom instruction support. And so that's one thing I always think about is like, oh, I think it would be helpful for counselors or advisors in the department to be a little more proactive in inviting us into those mentorship conversations where we can get coaching. So, it's not always sort of on you, it's sort of embedded in the program so you can receive this type of support.
That is perfectly what a perfect example of what I'm saying. It's offered. Hard stop. Is it
Right.
advertised?
Mm-hmm.
Way deep down in a book somewhere or on
Mm-hmm.
a website somewhere. But how are the students getting it? Well, if they read it, then they'll get it. No, we have to do a little bit better than that.
Yeah. Yeah. And really invite them to come be a part of the conversation.
That's right. And that right there is what? Equity education.
Yeah.
That's right. That's where we are doing the equity learning because we know that equity is giving them what they need for success. If you are looking at a student that clearly needs this coaching and you're not offering, we're then what is that saying?
Right. And so often we put it on them, like, okay, come to me if you need it, but they don't always know they need it.
There we go.
Right.
There we
Yeah.
go. There we go. I love this. I love this. Anyone else want to join in on this conversation? This is good. It's good. Yes. Oh, yes. So yes, Jennifer is a coach as well. Yes. And so we love that. And it really, I became a coach as a professor. Actually, I was a dean at the time. And that was really, really powerful because my students were coming to me to ask questions, but more so, I realized I was reaching out to them because I was seeing their grades, I was seeing their path. I looked at their uh, things and I was like, I need to go to them. I need to help them. I need to reach out to them. And once I realized that, that's when I was introduced to coaching. And so if you're already that person that's already reaching out to them, always trying to do something better, always trying to do something different, coaching might be your lane of genius. Yes. Ah, yes. I see we're putting in LinkedIn links. Please do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Put your LinkedIn links in. Let's communicate. Let's come together. We love that. Ah, okay. I see that coaching can improve the classroom even more. I loved your emphasis on students taking control of their learning and education. Yes. Yes. Isn't that such an empowering feeling when they really get when the light bulb comes on? And that's what we talk about in coaching. We call it an aha moment. Thank you, Jennifer. So Jennifer just put in my LinkedIn address. Please connect with me if you so choose. And it's nothing like when they finally have went through the questions and then all of a sudden it goes ding. And that ding moment is what is called an aha moment in coaching. You have that in education as well. And so that would be a prime example of when they decide that I'm taking ownership of this, no matter what the situation is, I'm going to be at those sessions. I'm going to read those books. I'm going to do those extra assignments. I'm going to do. That is when they have hit that aha moment and you help guide that. What an empowering feeling. I love that. I love that for us educators. So I want to leave you with this. Coaching is not discipline specific, it is a universal strategy for equity. Different disciplines, different roles, same opportunity, better conversion, create better outcomes. And of course, here's how you will connect with us. You already have my LinkedIn. Here's my email. If you're interested in more things about equity, we do have a Voices of Belonging series with my team. You'll see Jennifer Costa there as well. You can take a picture of that and register. Um, and then if you are a coach already and you are with ICF, you could just scan that Engage site, and that's where all the DRB things we do. So this was amazing. And I just want to say thank you. So I would love to answer any questions that are in the chat at this moment, if I may. So we'll stop sharing here. Okay. So let's see what we have going on here in the chat. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in here as well. All right. So I see. Ah, yes. So I see someone said that they were not formally a coach in title, but they use coaching skills as part of their goal. Most of us do. Most of us do. I actually found out that I was a coach because of what I was doing in as a dean. And someone, what I was telling them about my day, and they said, "You know, that's coaching, right?" And I said, "What?" Yeah. And you should probably get certified. There's classes for you to take and all this, and introduce me to the wonderful world of coaching. And now I get to introduce it to educators all over the world. So I love that. Yes. And then let's see here. We had what else we have here? Okay. Yes. Jennifer added the Voices of Belonging registration if you want to do that. Uh gotta love Jennifer Costa. I appreciate her. And so she always takes good care of me. All right. So I wanted to go back to our original statement, giving them options on what to write on, reflect on, or even what to read from day to day might feed their curiosity. Absolutely. Coaching is about curiosity. Coaching builds curiosity. And if you have not noticed that as you're asking questions, the more you get them to talking, that's why we use open-ended question, it fuels their curiosity, which makes them want to know more. And so because they want to know more, then the learning begins. And so that is why most of us as educators are using our coaching skills on a daily basis and didn't even know it because we're constantly building curiosity. So I love that. Yes. Ah, yes. And so I want to open it up for any questions that you may have or any reflections about the session that you may have. I would love to know your feedback.
I just want to share, thank you so much for this perspective and lens. And I want to highlight one of my colleagues who's here, Adoria Williams. She is a librarian in the Peralta Community College District where I work. And I want to, remind everyone that librarians are also, I think, coaches, right? And often an
Absolutely.
untapped resource. Yes. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll talk all day about how Adoria has been a professional coach to me, whether she knows it or not. But I also want to highlight, like we were saying before, students always don't know what they need and they don't know how to access it. And one activity I started doing when I teach on campus is don't just tell the students about the library, take them to it, introduce them to that librarian. And that is
Yeah.
where, again, I feel like that coaching resource can really come into play as they're able to advise students on how to approach research and things like that, and other services at the library. So just wanted to enter that into the conversation.
Absolutely. And I got to speak to her a little bit while we on break, and I could tell that she is the one to move it and to do it. So I just
Oh,
already
yes.
I don't know about all that, but thank you. Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I have always thought of librarians as the education whisperers because
Mhm.
they were
Mm,
always way able to break it down where some of the professors may not. Because sometimes we be talking way up, and but the library can come in and just really break it down. And I agree. Uh, and they usually do it with coaching skills. So yes,
Mhm. We do. Thank you.
untapped resource.
absolutely.
Yes, and I wish more faculty members would realize that. But, I have a good team. I have five adjunct librarians working with me and another full-time librarian. And, we hit the ground running. We do a lot of PR. We try to get out there into the classrooms. We get on Zoom. We do as much as we can to let people know that it's not like the past where we just sit at a desk with a bun on our heads and reading books. We are out there and doing things. And we librarians have always been out there doing things, but we're just stereotyped where people don't think that we know as much as we do. But we are the
Mhm.
keepers of the knowledge. We are. Um, my team is probably the most skilled on campus with regards to AI, and we.
Yeah.
I'm poker certified, and OER
And you're
I mean, we do.
multidisciplinary.
Yes, we do everything.
Yeah. You know so much
Everything.
across all of the fields of study. It's really
All
impressive.
the disciplines, all the disciplines. My team, we have so many degrees amongst us, not just library and information science degrees. So we can help. And we are happy to help. And we are coaches. That is the crux of our job. Yeah,
Well, I am glad that you see yourself as a coach from this example. And so, that makes me feel good that you can see your all the good work that you're doing in this coaching realm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
And
thank
thank you
you,
for bringing
Coach,
it forward.
Coach. Yes, and thank you,
Yes.
Coach Finch. We appreciate you so much for your
Absolutely.
words today. And I do want to note that the room will be open if there's additional questions or resources to be shared, but this is technically the close of our what is this, the second session of the morning? Third
Yes,
session.
third.
Third.
Um,
Yes.
and the recording will be available on the website just a couple of days after we wrap this conference. But I want to wish you all a happy conferencing, happy Zooming. And thank you again, Dr. Finch. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. And thank you all for coming. We appreciate you.
That was wonderful.